making another excursion up to the People's Park in a valiant, vain effort to trim down my ample yet manly ass. And I'm up here on Highway 51. We live just off here. And we are walking. We're walking because there's no gas in the motorbike, actually. So, we're walking along here. Now, you see this action? The truck turned right onto that little side thing there from the left lane. Trucks and cars use the left lanes, and motorbikes use the right lane. And look, so they beep their friggin' horns and turn, and you wonder why they're killing 19,000 people a year on the road here. Now, for a population of what, 90 million something? That's a very, very high percentage. But they drive like they walk. So, anyway, here's, you go down here, that first turn to the left down there is where Nyun lives. Unfortunately, it's so bright out here, I can't quite see my viewfinder. We're just hip shooting. Anyway, we're just taking nice and easy walking up here. There's the local convenience store. Ciao, ciao, xin ciao. Hello, come. Come on. This is the former Candong Wan restaurant. This is Nyun actually built this place, turned it over to his daughters, but since the local regime saw fit to block the turnaround here, you see here, this has been blocked off, so now it's very difficult. People have to drive like 7 kilometers down the road in order to turn around or back down this road as if they're fooling anyone, you see. Basically, the daughters are leasing out the business. Now, this is the new business, Quan Ka Yo. Quan Kan Gao, I think it's Gao is pronounced. But it essentially means the wooden fish. And what that is about is that the very poor people would carve a wooden fish and actually put it on a table and put sauce on it, hot sauce, nook mam, whatever, and they would eat their rice and or whatever they had to eat and look at the wooden fish and think about eating a nice fat fish. So that's, I think one of these days I'm gonna have to get me a wooden fish and put it on the table to keep me focused on what we do have, what we take for granted. What we take for granted. I remember Pop, back in the day when I was a kid, we never knew we were poor. Actually, we weren't poor. I mean, we were a typical middle-class family, you know, but there were times when he would come home a couple of days before he got paid with a pound of bologna and deal it out like a deck of cards, and we thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. In fact, I remember having stale bread with olive oil, water, salt, and pepper, and we thought that was a treat. We thought that was a treat. And that's what poor people do. They, there's a municipal complex over there. Poor people make the best. They convince themselves and everybody else they're not poor by eating stuff like tripe, things like that. I thought tripe was fish when I was a kid. I thought tripe was some kind of fish. I didn't know it was, you know, the lining of a cow's belly. I mean, you know, so. But, you know, whatever. Got us through it. Didn't kill me. Anyway, there's the People's Park over there. We'll be walking over there and continuing this. Anyway, you all take care. You guys remember the old Howard Johnsons, the little push carts there with making the sandwiches? Well, this one used to be, the girl used to work here for a long time, and then I guess about a year or so ago, she just stopped coming by. She left this here. But that says Ban Kan Chao Ka, I believe that's sandwich, and the Opla is omelet or an egg, and Tit Nong is grilled meat, and I'm not sure what the Chow Lua means, but I'll find it out. But they used to have these all over the place. I'm not sure if the government is discouraging them. If they want businesses in one place, so you know what's coming next, right? Taxes. Okay. Anyway, that's one way to slow down the economy, right? Tax them to death. Ask any Democrat. Anyway, check with you later. Okay, here we are strolling along outside the park here. We're going to be going in here in a minute. There's a lot of parks in Vietnam. I think that's a way, actually it's a way to give people jobs. Really, I'm convinced of that, absolutely. Now, since it's a one-party system, and I'm not sure exactly what the requirements are to be a member of the Communist Party, but since it's a one-party system, they take care of their own. People who fought on the wrong side of the war, their children and grandchildren. To this day, I wouldn't say they're discriminated against. Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Can't get jobs in certain areas, can't get jobs in banks and government, you know, stuff like that. So, but that means that a lot of them become entrepreneurs. You know, I mean, when Grandpa got on that sampan to get the hell out, he had a bag of gold with him. When he jumped on that plane, you know, his suitcase weighed like 400 pounds, so be that as it may. And a lot of the money's coming back. A lot of the money's come back investing. A lot of people have, you see this here, this is a motorbike barrier. There's one, on the other end of the park, there is one gate that's open. It doesn't have any barriers. So, but you still won't see any motorbikes in here. In fact, you don't see any people here. That's, hey, this is a nice park, great for walking. You know, I got a feeling it's probably a lot more active at night with young people doing what young people do, basically making more young people, but gotta have a hobby. And let's face it, we're in Vietnam. You know, there's a lot of karaoke bars here. I mean, every time we turn around, there's a karaoke. We go to a wedding, and well, Lana's up singing every single time, you know, and she's tried to convince me that she has to have a couple of beers so she can remember the words. Yeah, right. Anyway, I get these couple of these little pavilions here. I got a feeling these were supposed to be memorials, and they're supposed to have names on them of heroes. But this area was well, actually the Australians were here in Ba Ria. And this, what are you doing? And this area was a southern, stronghold. I mean, that's what it was. But after the first few years, when they went a little nutsy with the re-education camps and shit like that. But after that, the people bounced back. Vietnamese people are resilient, absolutely resilient. And that war was as much almost a religious war, except I do recall finding rosaries on some Viet Cong, which sort of surprised me. Anyway, that there is the flame of freedom, that big white sculpture, the stylized flame of freedom, and it's really quite elegant. I don't know who the artist was. Now this whole area here, the pond and everything, should be lit up with the fountains going, and probably by Tet it will be. But you can imagine the maintenance required in something like this, We've got these little arbors all around here, and flowers and planted, and again, the Vietnamese are very good at that stuff. Now you see this on the side of this garbage can here. It says San Sac Dep. That means green, clean, beautiful. That's the deal. Now, here's the problem. This is a garbage receptacle. See, no door. No door, and at least a lot of the garbage is put inside. Now you can see other stuff, other detritus laying around there. So every once in a while somebody comes down here with a big old bag and a pair of gloves and cleans this thing out. So with that kimchi, I hope so. Anyway, Chung is having a ball here. He's out. He's free. He's out of the house. Hey, I got to do this more often. Anyway, we'll walk around here a little bit now. Let's see the tile work here. Building this place must have been a trip. Building this place back in the day must have had an army. Keep the people busy, or keep the ex-soldiers busy, or whatever. That's just what you got to do, you know. First thing you do in the end of war, if you're smart, note, give your soldiers jobs. Keep them busy, man. God, you don't want them sitting around thinking, gee, you know, if I just had a gun here. So, there's a building boom going on every place we go in Vietnam, but this is the street, a street of banks, and then you go up to the main drag, and there's more banks. There's they're huge bank buildings. Every bank in Vietnam, it seems to be represented here in Ba Ria. You see the roads are good. A lot of the intersections do not have stop signs or stoplights, so that can get kind of exciting. A lot of times these people on the motorbike just completely ignore the stop sign or the red light. Which makes it interesting. The other thing they have is the way they drive. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I know. You can't go swimming. Sorry. Maybe you will, whether you like it or not. Anyway, but we'll work on it. The big trucks and the cars stay in the left lanes, and the motorbikes stay in the right lanes. Now, when a motorbike wants to turn left, they got to cross traffic in the left lanes, and the cars and the trucks cross traffic in the right lanes. And cars and the trucks, hear that? Their horns wear out faster than their brakes do, because they just hit the horn and turn. That's all. You just hit the horn and turn. In fact, I like to sit by an intersection, maybe get some shots today. You see that. Now, there are 19,000 people here getting killed on the roads in Vietnam. And I would venture to say most of them are on motorbikes. Every once in a while, a bus will go off a cliff. But that's because they don't have rules like we have. Like you can only drive so many hours a day or shit like that. No, they'll drive 14 hours a day. They'll drive 24 hours a day if they have to. They'll drive what they're paid to drive. And that's just the way it is. So, and don't even think about trying to collect insurance or collect pensions or reparations if your loved one gets killed. Ain't gonna happen. They even had a train wreck here not that long ago. I'm not sure what the details are. I don't care. Here we come to fitness, the fitness strip here. See, this is a beautiful place to walk around. This is, it's nice. It's a nice place. Usually there are some workmen here. I sit around and practice my stupidity, attempting to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Got to be careful though. There we go. What? You don't get the concept there, do you, son? Yeah, well, I show you how to do that, but there we go. Hey, what the hell? You know something? That might work. That might work. Let's go. This one over here, I like. The old push-pull. Unfortunately, only one of these things has oil in it. One of these shock absorbers. We probably wouldn't be that hard to replace it with some hydraulic oil and get it working. Not my job. In fact, there's probably a job description somewhere. The socialists here do tend to, shall we say, overstaff manual jobs or completely ignore them. There we go. That's right. You figured it out. Yeah, I kind of hate to see this kid go back up to Viet Nam. I don't know. He's a bright little guy, and he's very, very curious, which can be annoying as shit, but yeah, well, kids. So, what's that? Huh? Come back, huh? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, well. That's the old twisty thing there. You go up there and you do the twist and work on that core. It's interesting that Vietnam would be emphasizing individual exercise, if you think about it. Because these people work like dogs, at least they used to. They still do up in the mountains and still do up out on the farms. But here in the city, they do what we do. Sit on their ass all day and whatever. In fact, they're proud of having big bellies. That's not the women, but the men. In fact, one guy told me, I said, he says, you're very handsome. I said, no, I'm fat. And he goes, no, fat. Basically, he said, fat, bad for woman. For man, no problem. Okay. All right, whatever. Anyway, that over there, that's the bathroom. That's the facilities, and that really could stand with with a hosing down about once a week. You know what I'm saying here? I'm going. Anyway, here we go. Nice park, beautiful park here in Ba Ria, Vietnam. There's one of the fitness stations that I don't know, either came down or hasn't been put up yet or whatever. Anyway, but Jung finds it quite fascinating. Anything to keep him busy. Kids just, I don't know, kids are universal. I mean, that's just the reality. This little guy's no different than my son at that age. In a lot of ways. Let's just leave it at that. That's more than I can do, kid. And who is it said youth is wasted on the young? Look at all that energy. God almighty. Unbelievable. In the time I've been coming up to this park, I've seen less than a dozen people all total. I really don't get it. I can understand now why the bicycle concession, it looks like there's a cooler over there behind there, and there's an office there, but probably some kind of a concession stand, concession office. They probably sold ice cream and cold drinks and rent bicycles, but nobody is buying. So I don't know why. I guess that during the day, if they're working, they wouldn't be here. And when it comes time for siesta, they're not going to come out here and sweat their ass. You know, they're going to, you know, go home or go someplace and have a cup of cold coffee or whatever, you know. So that's the deal. Oh, I'm so glad I brought him out here. Hopefully we'll tire him out a little bit, because I'm sure it should tire me out. Anyway. Wow. There are people in the park. It's cool. It's a holiday. Nobody's working today. And we're hanging out at the park. Really, really sweet. There's an enterprising physical fitness buff, and there's a young lady over there who's just jogging. There's a lot of people here now walking around. I guess it must be about that, you know, that Mad Dogs and Englishmen thing. I come over here either in the late morning or early afternoon, the hottest part of the day, actually, and I'm the only one here. And now I can understand that, you know. I mean, really. But here tonight is a cool breeze going, and the there he goes. The park is clean, you know, it's pretty clean. They do have an issue with the garbage cans, though, and garbage receptacles, and that I believe that all the doors, or all but one of the doors, was pried off and sold for scrap. It looks like stainless steel, you know, and they're glued on, they're not bolted on. So they got to do is just bolt those things out with tamper-proof bolts and put locks on them and put garbage cans in them so they can be easily empty. Because right now I believe the doors were stolen and the garbage cans were stolen. Meanwhile, what's the midget doing here? You down? What are you doing? Huh? Like I said, this kid makes Dennis the Menace look like he's in a coma. Wow. No. What? What do you want, huh? Hey? Flame of freedom? I like it here. I like maybe a little bit too much, but you know, it's there are not many places. Well, I guess there are, but not around me anyway. But I just I feel very comfortable here. Just kind of weird. Oh, there's a couple of dogs in the park over there. What the hell are they doing? Or if they belong to somebody. They belong to that guy. Oh well, whatever. Here we see one of the features of the park. They have various exercise stations, physical fitness stations around here. Besides the Green, Clean, Beautiful campaign, they also encourage physical fitness as more people are moving into the city. You actually see people jogging. I don't think you'll see a jogger up in Shranu or up in the mountains. In fact, if there was somebody running, it'd probably be a cop behind them. Anyway, but this is it. There's a nice little family of 5 that came up there on their single motorbike. 2 adults and 3 children. Now, 3 adults on a bike will get you a ticket, but you can have as many kids. And adults are required to wear helmets. Children are not required to wear helmets. So, anyway, you know where that's going. Be that as it may. Also, they tend to discourage more than 2, and they counsel you if you have 3. Anyway, but that's because the education isn't free. And they don't want you to not send your kid to school because you can't afford it because you got too many kids. Yeah, so, interesting concept. There are some things that we do here that sound draconian, but actually, you know, you really should think about. They appreciate their education, let's put it that way. How does that sound? Wow, what a concept. This guy is actually cleaning up the stones there. There's some bugs who've mud daubers of some kind who, created some mounds on there on the stones there. And this gentleman here found a piece of brick, and not only did he remove them, but he also put the piece of brick back where he found it. This is good. This impresses the shit out of me. Anyway, I'm easily impressed these days, but there you go. Back to this lady.